What's going on, guys? It's Tom, or Talks on Wrestling, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be looking back at the rise and fall of Ryback in WWE and how he so quickly went from main eventing pay-per-views in world title matches to becoming a lower mid-carder. Before we get into the video, I'd like to thank my Patreon backers Marky D, Efran Martin, Alan Barkley, Gravedigger33, Jonathan Thompson, and Cedric Cowan. If you guys want to see more exclusive content from me and a bunch of other stuff and a bunch of other perks, check out my Patreon, linked in the description below. It would really help me during these trying times and would be very much appreciated. But let's get into the video.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you are watching Top 10 Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
The world was first introduced to Ryback in the $1 Million Tough Enough. He was one of the 8 finalists in the season and became known as the guy who never stops eating. Feed him more, I guess you could say. Though Ryback did not win this season of Tough Enough and was voted off, he very much impressed WWE officials enough for them to want to sign him to a WWE developmental contract, which they did. Between 2006 and 2010, Ryback would wrestle throughout Deep South Wrestling and Ohio Valley Wrestling as Ryback, and even won the OVW World title. And when OVW transferred to FCW in Florida, Ryback began using the name Skip Sheffield. In early 2010, Skip Sheffield was announced as one of the 8 contestants on the first season of NXT. This was when NXT was a weird game show where fans voted for their favourite. Skip Sheffield was managed by William Regal, which, what a pairing that is, and he finished the show with a win-loss record of 2-5 and would unfortunately finish 6th in the season, becoming the first person to be voted out by the fans. Unlucky Skip. However, on the June 7th episode of Raw, Skip and the other NXT participants debuted on Raw as The Nexus, in one of the most awesome segments of all time, where they destroyed the ring, beat up Cena and beat up the commentators and the announcers and just wreaked havoc. And I don't want to talk too in depth about The Nexus because, let's face it, it's been spoken about to death on YouTube and we all know how it ends, and it kind of just depresses me to talk about it. But basically, to summarize, the Nexus was one of the most promising stables in WWE history and could have been huge, but their momentum came to a screeching halt when they were defeated by Team John Cena at SummerSlam after John Cena came from 2-1 down to win the match. It was awful, and also that month, Skip Sheffield himself broke his ankle, which effectively removed him from the Nexus, and he wouldn't wrestle again until December 2011, more than a year later. However, it wouldn't be a year and a half later until he'll make his return to WWE TV, sporting a brand new attire in April 2012, and under his name in OVW Ryback. His past to Skip Sheffield was not being acknowledged, and Ryback was here to begin squashing people and get called Goldberg. He would squash local talent, lower mid-carders and enhancement talent, and would just dominate tag teams in handicap matches. Ryback managed to reach a 38-match win streak, and while he was getting the Goldberg comparisons, he was over. Like, he was really over. In October of 2012, Ryback confronted the WWE Champion CM Punk backstage, and from this point, everyone knew what was happening, and Ryback exploded in popularity. The match was made for Hell in a Cell 2012. A Hell in a Cell match, Ryback versus CM Punk for the WWE title. And this match, well, it went horribly. WWE really booked themselves into a corner here. They had Ryback, a very over wrestler with lots of momentum and a winning streak, challenging CM Punk for the WWE title, who at this time was in the midst of his famous 400-day reign, and WWE knew full well he wasn't going to lose the title to Ryback, he was going to lose it to The Rock at the Royal Rumble 2013. CM Punk retained in this match after the referee Brad Maddox low-blowed Ryback and helped CM Punk retain. this match really hurt Ryback's momentum, but it would be the next few months that would ultimately kill his momentum. And I just can't stress this enough, because we all have our opinions of Ryback now, but I full well feel that if there was one man to take the title of CM Punk that wasn't The Rock or John Cena, it was Ryback at Hell in a Cell 2012. I fully believe that. He would wrestle for the title at Survivor Series once more in a triple threat match also involving John Cena, which he also lost because of interference from the debuting Shield. Then at TLC, he teamed with Team Hell No, where they were defeated by the Shield in a TLC match in one of the best matches of the year and probably Ryback's best ever match in WWE. At the 2013 WWE Royal Rumble, Ryback would compete in the Royal Rumble match and finish in the runner-up position after Cena one of the most predictable and quite frankly insulting finishes to a match ever to set up Cena vs Rock 2. Ryback would begin feuding with Mark Henry for WrestleMania in a feud where they were trying to one-up each other, and at WrestleMania 29, Ryback was defeated by Mark Henry. Great. The following Raw, Ryback would turn heel and challenge Cena for the world title, which makes sense because he just lost to Mark Henry, so now he gets a world title shot. He challenged it to him at Extreme Rules in a last man standing match, which ended in a no contest, and then at Payback in a 3 Stages of Hell match, which he lost, and at this point, his momentum was dead. It was dead in the water. In September of that year, Ryback would actually align himself with Paul Heyman of all people, and would begin feuding with CM Punk once again, because the last time they feuded, that went so well. He lost to Punk at Battleground, and then he lost to Punk at Hell in a Cell in a Hell in a Cell match, and it was also during this time that Ryback infamously missed a table spot and injured CM Punk. Following this, Paul Heyman would soon end his relationship with Ryback, and Ryback would then form a team with other former Paul Heyman guy, Curtis Axel, calling themselves Rybaxel. They would essentially spend the next year being a jobber team, floating around the roster, and doing nothing. Ryback had really fallen. In August of 2014, Ryback would take 2 months off WWE for surgery, and he would return in October as a face to join Team WWE to take on Team Authority at Survivor Series, and it seems that Ryback was getting a push again, which was great. Team WWE won that match, which didn't really matter in the end. However, not much would really happen for Ryback immediately afterwards. It wouldn't be until Elimination Chamber 2015 that took place mid-year for some reason, where Ryback would finally have some title success. He would win the Intercontinental title in arguably the worst Elimination Chamber match of all time. Unlucky, and also his IC title reign ended up being quite forgettable as he had to sit out a month or two due to a staph infection, defend it in a mediocre match with The Big Show and The Miz at SummerSlam, and then lose it to Kevin Owens and fail to regain it. Following this, Ryback's momentum was done for. Completely done for. It was essentially halted indefinitely. He would float around the roster until February 2016, when he would debut with yet another new look, sporting trunks and removing the singlet, and getting more Goldberg comparisons than ever before, and turning heel. He began feuding with Kalisto for the US title. Yeah, remember that, Kalisto was US champion, losing to him at WrestleMania 32 in the pre-show when barely anyone had arrived at the venue. But Ryback would then defeat Kalisto in a non-title match to reignite the feud, but then would lose to Kalisto once again when it actually counted, failing to beat him for the title at Payback, which would end up being Ryback's final ever WWE match. On May 2nd, it was reported that Ryback was sent home by the company due to a contractual dispute, and Ryback was refusing to compete in a battle royal he was advertised for. And in August, he and WWE would officially part ways when WWE announced that he was released from the company. Since leaving the WWE, Ryback has made a few indie appearances, and as of 2020, he has been on a 3-year winning streak on the independent circuit. When I look back at Ryback in WWE, he actually had like 4 rises and falls. The first with Tough Enough, the second with the Nexus, the third when he was competing for the WWE title, and the fourth when he went from Team WWE and IC champion to fighting Kalisto and leaving the company. I can't stress enough, but Ryback really could have been the guy to beat CM Punk. And it's just amazing and incredible how he went from that to a jobber. And that's just WWE in a nutshell. Overall, I thought Ryback did have a place in WWE, though I do have my opinions of him now due to the stupid things he says on Twitter. I think he had a place in the company, and he could have been big if WWE let him be big, and they just let him do him. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, then be sure to smack that like button. I'll see you all soon, or well, check out my Patreon first, patreon.com/TopsonWrestling. Follow me on Twitter @TopsonWrestling. My Instagram is @I'mTomBell. You can find me across the board, wherever you want to go. What am I even saying right now? Yeah, just whatever. Subscribe, notifications on. See ya. Bye.